Good evening. I would like to welcome everyone to the Town of Lexington Council meeting. This council meeting is being held at Town Hall on Monday evening, May the 4th, 2026, and is being broadcast live on the town's YouTube channel. I am Hazel Livingston, the mayor for the Town of Lexington, and I would like to introduce my fellow council members. To my left is Council Member Ron Williams.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Todd Lyle.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Jeannie Michaels.
Good evening.
And showing up just now is Mayor Pro Tem Todd Carnes.
Good evening.
To his right is Council Member Gavin Smith.
Good evening.
And to his right is Council Member Will Allen.
Good evening.
Our invocation tonight will be led by Council Member Allen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Let's pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you for this beautiful spring that we've had here in Lexington, Lord. Thank you for all of your blessings you continue to shower upon us in this community. We love you so much. We ask a special blessing tonight, Lord, to please guide us as we make the decisions for this town. Give us Holy Spirit inspiration to make the best decisions we can to preserve the peace and prosperity for our neighbors. We love you, Lord. We praise you. We bless you. And pray all this in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen. I would like to invite up now retired Army Veteran Sergeant First Class Christine Craig to lead us in our pledge. If everybody would please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to thank you for your service and thank you for being here tonight. I will now call the council meeting to order. Are there any deletions from tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we'll move into the executive session. Council met in executive session prior to this meeting to discuss matters as permitted by South Carolina Code, discussion of contract for pavement rehabilitation projects, discussion of 2 potential property acquisitions, legal briefing on Raw Road Land LLC, Wade McGuinn and Miraville LLC versus Town of Lexington, and discussion of personnel matters, compensation plan, and departmental reorganization. No vote was taken. Do I hear a motion to ratify this report?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michaels seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our minutes tonight include our meeting packet for approval are the minutes from the special call work session held on March 23rd, 2026, and the budget workshop held on March 23rd, 2026. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Williams seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those that approve of the minutes, please raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our first presentation this evening is a presentation, and I would ask you guys to come forward, recognizing Peace Officers Memorial and Police Week. A proclamation by the Mayor and Council of the Town of Lexington declaring May the 15th, 2026 as Peace Officers Memorial Day and May 11th through 17th, 2026 as Police Week. Whereas the President and Congress of the United States have set aside May the 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it falls as National Police Week. And whereas Peace Officers Memorial Day honors the brave law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty. And whereas in 2022, 226 federal, state, tribal, and local officers across the country gave their lives with serving their communities. And whereas we rely on law enforcement officers to keep our neighborhood safe, protect our property, and help ensure peace and justice for all, and whereas the Lexington Women's Club will place banners throughout the town, which I saw them today and they look great, to honor those who have fallen, and to show support for the officers who serve us every day. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the mayor and council of the town of Lexington that May the 15th, 2026 is recognized as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week of May the 11th through 17th, 2026 is declared Police Week in the town of Lexington. A special ceremony will be held on May the 13th, 2026 at the Lexington County Law Enforcement Monument to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. All citizens are encouraged to join in recognizing and thanking the law enforcement officers who protect our town every day.
While sitting here tonight, we're reminded of the long-term relationship the town of Lexington and the Lexington Women's Club have had. Thank you for partnering with us to recognize law enforcement during Police Officers Week by hanging the 75 thin blue line banners above the streets of Lexington and near the Lexington Sheriff's Department. We are so very blessed to live, play, and serve in a community whose leadership is so progressive and supportive. Not every community can say this. So thank you all so much for letting us be a part of this.
Thank you, and thank you for all y'all do for them. Our next presentation will be a proclamation recognizing Transportation Week and our transportation staff by Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a proclamation recognizing National Transportation Week. Whereas National Transportation Week is observed annually during the week, including the third Friday in May, to recognize the importance of transportation systems and the professionals who support them. And whereas the Town of Lexington Transportation Department maintains approximately 33.5 miles of locally maintained roadways and manages traffic signals, ensuring safe and efficient travel for residents, businesses, and visitors. And whereas these dedicated employees perform essential services, including roadway maintenance, traffic signal operations, and infrastructure improvements that support the safety, connectivity, and quality of life within our community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor, town council, and citizens of the town of Lexington express their sincere appreciation to the town's transportation department staff for their continued commitment and service to Lexington. Dated this 4th day of May, 2026.
Hey, Randy, can you remind everybody real quick? I know that we are one of only a handful of municipalities throughout the state of South Carolina that have fully adaptive signalization system throughout the town. At one point, it was us in Mount Pleasant, maybe some in Aiken. Can you give the exact details on that? Because we do have a very advanced signalization system throughout our town. It's pretty unique and not very common. Exactly who all has that, and can you just give us a 60-second version of that?
So adaptive signalization obviously is a relatively new technology, and it's to allow the signals to adapt to traffic demand, whether that be side street or through volumes. And our signals are programmed to adjust throughout the day. And over the years, we've seen significant improvement in throughput, which is a measure of its efficiency. So in 2014, council authorized moving forward with the SCDOT to create its own signal department, of which we've grown now. We're pushing 10 folks that are involved in some manner of speaking. And so we started out managing 35 signals, and that has grown to 52 this year, I believe we're at. So it's just continuing to grow. For clarity, not every single one of them are adaptive, but as we work with SCDOT, we take over additional signals just to provide a higher level of service, simply because we're managed, Lexington's managed out of District 1, which is over on Shop Road in Columbia. So we're able to just respond in a much more timely manner. And that would be, so we are still one of the more progressive in the state of South Carolina. With this particular system, it is us in Mount Pleasant, as well as the Whiskey Road area of Aiken has this particular system on it. Columbia County, Georgia is our next comparable. That entire area, Washington Road, people are familiar, that's all adaptive, just like ours.
Yeah, so it's fair to say we're one of only a handful of municipalities in South Carolina that have this most advanced signalization. And that was because some people went after those funds probably in about 06, 08, because that's how government works. And so people that were here in 06, 08, if y'all see them in the community, y'all pat them on the back because they had vision and we're here. Yep. Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
Okay. Next up, Mayor Pro Tem Carnes will present a proclamation recognizing this week as Small Business Week. If any of our members from the chamber are here, please come up. And I see some of them back there.
All right. Welcome, chamber folks. Y'all stay right there. We will read this and we'll take a few photos and have you guys give us a few remarks, which would be great. And before I do, I was looking around. I just noticed I know 5 of us up here are local small business owners ourselves. And so many of us relate to you guys, and small businesses are the backbone of our community. Whereas small businesses are the backbone of our local and national economy, driving innovation, creating jobs, and strengthening our communities, and whereas more than 70% of new private sector jobs in the United States are created by small businesses, highlighting their critical role in economic development and opportunity, and whereas the entrepreneurial spirit of small business owners fuels the American dream and contributes to the vibrancy and resilience of our economy, and whereas during Small Business Week, communities across the country come together to recognize the hardworking individuals who take risk, follow their passions, and serve their neighbors through small business ownership. And whereas the town of Lexington is proud to celebrate the vital contributions of small businesses and the impact they have on the prosperity and quality of life in our community, now therefore be it proclaimed by the mayor and council of the town of Lexington that the week of May 4 through 8, 2026 is hereby designated as Small Business Week in the town of Lexington, and we encourage all residents to support and celebrate the small businesses that make our town strong, unique, and thriving. Signed by your mayor and your council, and congratulations. Let's take a photo.
Mayor and Council, thank you so much for this proclamation. We are indeed excited about Small Business Week. We have over 700 businesses that we represent. We'll be celebrating the week with 2 special events for our chamber shareholders, as well as a series of videos that are going to be pushed out this week and throughout the month, spotlighting about 8 to 10 of our small business owners here in town. So thank you for your support of our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have A proclamation recognizing the Wingards and Wingards Market as USA Today's #1 plant nursery. And I would like to ask y'all to come forward in 2026, if y'all come forward. Proclamation recognizing Wingards Market as US Today's #1 plant nursery. Whereas Wingards Market was established in 1968 by Judson and Margie Wingard and has grown into a third-generation family-owned business proudly serving the Lexington community with plants, fresh local produce, gifts, and garden supplies. And whereas the business has been consistently recognized for excellence, including being named Lexington Chamber Small Business of the Year in 2023 and earning National Top 100 Garden Center honors multiple times. And whereas on March 18, 2026, Wingards Market was named the #1 plant nursery in the United States by USA Today, selected from 20 nominees by a panel of experts and voted on nationally. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the mayor, town council, and citizens of the town of Lexington congratulate this third-generation family business on its outstanding national recognition and commend the Wingard family for their long-standing commitment to quality and service in our community. Dated this 4th day of May 2026. Congratulations, that's a big. Nice.
Thank you very much. We are very appreciative and humbled by this. This business started in 1968 with $250, and it was a hobby of my in-laws, and you see what it's done now, and so we're anxious to see what our friends at Mission Lexington are going to add to the traffic around us, and the new Parker's Kitchen adds to the traffic around us. But anyway, again, thank you very much. We're very appreciative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm working on it, Wally. I'm working on it.
And our last proclamation is presented by the Lexington Chamber of Commerce. Angel.
I failed to introduce our chairman of the board, Trey Powell, with Mosquito Joe and Wonderly Lights. And good evening, Mayor Livingston and members of the Town Council. I'm proud to announce that the Lexington Week of Restaurants has been named an award recipient of the 2026 Communication Excellence Award presented by the Carolinas Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives. Our joint initiative, organized by the town and the chamber, won in the electronic category for chambers with over 700 members. This award was presented recently at the Chamber's Executive Conference, which was held here in the Columbia area. It honors the highest standards of originality and measurable impact. While we've been recognized in the past for projects like Beer Fest and the Vote for Yes, Vote for Roads campaign, this honor specifically highlights the innovative digital strategy we built together. By leveraging our partnership, we turned a quiet mid-September into a community-wide initiative showcasing our area restaurants. The results included the creation of a new dedicated website, which is LexSCWeekofRestaurants.com. We had 35 participating restaurants during our first year, and these were restaurants only within town limits. Within a 2-month span, we reached over 6,900 unique visitors. The town created a dedicated social media page and attracted 1,800 followers. Unique content was created, including photos, videos, and stories. Area influencers were also recruited to promote the initiative. We utilized a punch card program, and that provided an incentive to consumers to visit multiple locations. Many restaurant owners reported nearly double their sales, resulting in measurable economic growth during a traditionally slow period. So on behalf of the Chamber and the business community, thank you for investing in us as your visitor center. This recognition belongs to both of us. We appreciate your unwavering support in making Lexington a premier destination for residents and visitors alike. The award proves that when the town and the chamber lean into a collaborative vision, we drive real economic success for Lexington. So in closing, we look forward to our second year. We've already met with some of the town staff. We've set the date to kick off September the 10th, and we plan to conclude September the 20th. So we are so happy to present this award to you and to tell you thank you for your collaborative efforts in working with us and supporting our restaurants.
Well, the real winners in this is our staff, especially that one and the one sitting over there, but definitely Michael. And a big thank you to y'all and all y'all did to make this award for all of us, because they did a lot of work with photos and videos and that type of stuff. So it's not mine or your award, it's y'all's.
Congrats.
You want to let him get it? Michael, I'm going to let you get it.
Yep.
You deserve this award.
Do you want to come take the picture so Lauren can get in there with me?
Well,
I'll take one for you.
Mayor, would you like to jump in?
And Rachel,
Thank you very much.
that goes for you too, Rachel, for encouraging them and giving them a healthy workplace to do what they need to do and giving them some freedom for it. I appreciate that. So next up, I'll give a vision plan update. The Vision Plan Advisory Committee has held their first meeting. The goal of this group is to map out what Lexington will look like in the future. There are 10 community members that make up this committee, and they will be gathering input and providing recommendations. If you would like to get involved in this process, stay tuned to lexsc.gov for more information on public input sessions, and I'm sure it will be on our Facebook and our Instagram pages also, correct? Rachel, Kevin?
Madam Mayor, that's correct.
Okay. So y'all stay tuned. I know they're working on the locations right now and should be bringing us something back soon, correct? Next up, we have our Mayor Pro Tem Carnes with our traffic update.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As part of the Wine Walk, there will be a detour in the 100 block of Main Street from North Lake Drive to North Church Street on Saturday, May 9th, 2026 from 1 to 8 p.m. As work begins in the Corley Woods neighborhood on repaving project, there will be a lane closure at Augusta Highway and Terrar Springs Road for paving operations. The Utilities Department water line replacement contractor is working in various areas downtown, specifically Harmon Street, Corley Street, and Fox Street. A lane shift can be expected on Columbia Avenue at Reed Avenue beginning at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, as the Utilities Department addresses a sinkhole. It's interesting. Please exercise caution when traveling in construction and detour areas. We encourage you to follow the Town of Lexington's Police Department social media outlets for traffic alerts and updates. Please call 803-358-7273 to report any traffic signal issues, unsafe roadway conditions, or pothole that needs immediate repair. And finally, and most importantly, if you pull up to Dutch Bros and they're like 5 deep out into the roadway, just go down the road to Canal. They make all the same stuff. Let's don't back up the road trying to get to Dutch Bros. They'll be here next month. You can get the protein milk. Thank you very much.
Very true. Very true.
Common sense.
Okay, we will now open the public hearings. We welcome your comments and ask that each speaker please limit their remarks to 3 minutes. A timer will be set. Please note that this is not a question and answer session, and we ask that comments remain specific to the item under consideration. Please address the council as a whole rather than directing comments to staff or members of the audience. These guidelines help ensure a respectful and orderly process and allow time for everyone who wishes to speak. With that, is there anyone who would like to speak regarding the public hearing for tonight as I list the items? Annexation of Lexington County Tax Map 004300-07-162-031-133, 1100 block of West Main Street. The next one is recommendation on rezoning from high-density residential to high-density residential and limited commercial with a planned unit development overlay on Lexington County Tax Map number 004300-07-153 and 024 located at 201 Old Chapin Road. Next is recommendation on rezoning from limited commercial to high-density residential with planned unit development overlay on Lexington County Tax Map number 004323-02-001 located at 100 Snell Grove Road. And the last one is approval of a planned unit development consisting of 51-unit townhome project that will include 0.80 acres of limited commercial office space. Hearing none, we will now move into old business, and we will start out with Councilmember Smith on final reading of an annexation on West Main Street.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Stature Properties, LLC, owns approximately 29.31 acres on West Main Street and Highway 378 and has petitioned to annex the property. A car dealership and commercial center is planned to be developed on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned general commercial, office commercial, high-density residential, and protected residential. West Main Street and Highway 378 are classified as arterial roads. The property is shown on the future land use map as a regional node area. The comprehensive land use plan describes this area as a node containing medium to high intensity commercial, retail, hospitality businesses, which would predominantly be regional or national brands, and offices that cater to those traveling along major corridors. At the March 18th meeting, the town's planning commission recommended zoning the property as general commercial and classifying West Main Street and Highway 378 as arterial roads. Considering their recommendation, Madam Mayor, I would move for final reading approval.
Councilman Smith makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Williams seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Item number 2 is 2, 3, and 4 are related but need to be voted on separately. Item number 2 is final reading recommendation of rezoning from high-density residential to high-density residential and limited commercial with a planned unit development overlay on Lexington County Tax Map. Mayor Pro Tem Carnes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Conley Development has submitted a request to rezone 9.63 acres at 201 Old Chapin Road from high-density residential to high-density residential and limited commercial with a planned unit development overlay. The purpose of the request is to support the proposed planned unit development of a 50-unit townhome project that will include 0.8 acres of limited commercial office space fronting on Old Chapin Road. Properties adjacent are zoned high-density residential, limited commercial, and protected residential. Old Chapin Road is classified as a collector road. At its March 18th meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the rezoning request as submitted. I make a motion for final reading approval.
Mayor Pro Tem makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Lyles seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Item number 3 is final reading recommendation on rezoning from limited commercial to high-density residential with a planned unit development overlay on Lexington County Tax Map number 004323-02-001 located at 100 Snell Grove Road. Mayor Pro Tem Carnes.
Oh, I'm up again.
You're up on all 3 of them.
All right. Sorry, I was scrolling right past it. Let me catch up with you. This item number 3. Is this 3?
3.
I just
and then
did
you'll
2.
go to 4.
All right. Working overtime, Mayor. Connolly Development has submitted a request to rezone 0.92 acres at 100 Snell Grove Road from limited commercial to high-density residential with the planned unit development overlay. The purpose of the request is to support the proposed planned unit development of a 50-unit townhome project that will include 0.8 acres of limited commercial office space fronting on Old Chapin Road. Properties adjacent are zoned high-density residential, limited commercial, and protected residential. Old Chapin Road is classified as a collector road, and Snell Grove Road is classified as a limited local road. At its March 18th meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the rezoning request as submitted. I'll make a motion for final reading approval.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Williams, seconds it. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
can I ask a quick question? David, maybe you know this, but being that it went before the Planning Commission, and being that this is a PUD, varying zoning requirements are waived, specifically setbacks. And I received a question over the weekend regarding the power lines on this property, and being that there are some large power lines overhead, if one of the power lines broke, and being that we are waiving our requirements for the setbacks to those power lines, I suppose, would that open the town and thus our citizens up for any liability if damage was to occur or death were to occur, being that we're waiving some of those requirements in this PUD?
Obviously, I have not reviewed the title of the property, but it would seem to me like there would be easements on the property that provide the area for the power lines to cross the property that run with the land. So as long as the power lines are within the area that they are supposed to be, if they do break or fall or whatever, I think that you know, you would look at the power company for liability. I don't think the town giving up its setbacks would open us up to potential liability. Obviously, you can't stop people from bringing actions against everybody. I mean, that's would probably be the theory of the action, to bring, you know, name everybody involved. But, you know, I don't think it would limit the towns or open the town up for any more liability than they already are for a situation.
Okay,
Ms. Lybrand wants to
I had never received a question like this before, so I figured I would ask
Go ahead,
David.
Jessica.
Just to be clear, there are no variances in regard to the underneath the power lines. There will be nothing built in the easement. And it very clearly states that no structures are to be built under that easement.
Okay, and then that addresses their concern. Thank you. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Gavin. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Item number 4, approval of a planned unit development consisting of a 51-unit townhome project that will include 0.80 acres of limited commercial office space. Mayor Pro Tem Carnes.
Connolly Development is requesting site plan approval for a planned unit development consisting of 50 townhomes on 9.43 acres and 0.8 acres of commercial office space located at the corner of Old Chapin Road and Snell Grove Road. Primary access to the development will occur from Old Chapin Road. Internal streets serving the townhomes will be privately owned and maintained. The proposed development represents the redevelopment of 2 existing properties currently occupied by a 30-unit apartment complex in the former J.C. Hut building located at 100 Snell Grove Road, which is currently vacant. The project would remove these existing structures and redevelop the site with a combination of residential townhomes and limited neighborhood-scale commercial office space. The project is requesting approval as a planned unit development due to the unique nature of the proposal and to allow modifications to traditional zoning requirements. At its March 18th meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval of this request. I make a motion for final reading approval.
Mayor Pro Tem makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michaels seconds it. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to ask another question of Jessica, just for the record. And I asked this at the last question, but I want to do it again just for anyone watching or for those of you here. A couple years ago, I don't know how long it was, but at some point, this property was approved for nearly 100 units to be built on the site. That's correct, right, by the Planning Commission?
That is correct.
Okay, and Mr. Connolly is only building 51, right?
Yes, that is
51
correct.
units.
Yes.
And the site previously had 35 units
I think it was
before the
roughly
fire?
30.
30 units. Now there's roughly 20. So this is a net gain pre-fire of about 20 units, right?
Correct.
All right, so it is fair to say that Mr. Connolly could purchase from the current landowner the rights, the vested right that they have to build the 100 units, and he could move forward with that
Today, yes.
today. But he has chosen instead to reduce the density to only build 50 units, correct?
That is correct.
All right, so just for the record, he could build 100 units. However, Mr. Connolly has decided to build only 50, which is a net gain of about 20 pre-fire. So I just wanted to state that again for the record for those who are watching and for those who are in attendance. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. Any other discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
No discussion, but just noted that for the community at large, as part of this redevelopment, there will be significant traffic improvements along Old Chapin, because the current traffic situation on Old Chapin from the red light going back to the old TCBY is less than stellar. It's my understanding that our engineer has worked with DOT to get us a stellar scenario back there with the new development, and the developer will be paying for that and bringing some efficiency there. Thank you, Mayor.
And I would also like to say that Mr. Connolly and his team is helping all of the residents that are there to relocate. I know that's been a big concern of a lot of the residents as I've been out speaking to different groups, and he is helping all of those residents relocate. So he's very kind-hearted, and they're taking care of them, so.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Ms. Lybrand, could you clarify for me, some folks have sent me a text saying that we're allowing folks to build in the wetlands. I don't believe there's any wetlands on Mr. Connolly's property that I'm aware of. I know the Planning Commission didn't hear of any that I know of.
No, sir. And if there is, it's probably in the rear of the property, and they're not getting close to that. They're still maintaining a 150-foot buffer, I believe. Is that correct? From that rear.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
can we also just state for the record that Mr. Connolly is a local builder? And that
And-
we frequently hear, why do we allow the big national builders to come into the town, which, to be clear, we don't technically allow anything. They fall within the law. But I just want to state for the record that Mr. Connolly lives here in Lexington, owns his business here in Lexington, businesses on Main Street.
Having his first grandchild here in
Yes.
Lexington.
Oh, yeah. So Mr. Connolly is local and does care about the community.
And his office is right there next to this, too, so.
It is.
So, with all that discussion, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. We'll now move into new business items for tonight's meeting, starting with the appointment of the municipal court judge. And this is an honor for me to be able to read this one and do this one because his mama was my best friend. So, Town Council is asked to reappoint the municipal court judge, Brian Jeffcoat, to a new term. 14-25-15 of the South Carolina Code requires each municipal judge to be appointed by the council to serve for a term set by the council of not less than 2 years, but not more than 4 years. His compensation must be fixed by the council and is incorporated into the annual budget. So I will read this. Town Council is asked to reappoint municipal court judge Brian Jeffcoat to a new term. 14-25-15 of the South Carolina Code requires each municipal judge to be appointed by the council to serve for a term set by the council of not less than 2 years but not more than 4 years. His compensation must be fixed by the council and is incorporated into the annual operating budget. Judge Jeffcoat was most recently appointed to a 2-year term in June 2024. The request is to reappoint Judge Jeffcoat to a new 3-year term. The judge must be sworn in with attached oath of office being used. Appointment of Brian, I make a motion for appointment of Judge Brian Jeffcoat to a 3-year term.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I just may briefly add, as an attorney, I run in some circles where we hear about complaints from time to time from some of the other courthouses. I'm proud to say that there are absolutely no complaints ever about our court. So, Judge Jeffcoat, we appreciate how you run it. And sometimes when they don't say much about you, that's the best compliment we can. So, job well done.
So if you'll come up here, we'll swear you in. I guess I better take a vote, hadn't I? I better take a vote. So before you come, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. And I caught myself before I got down there.
I wouldn't have let you go all the way down.
You just wanted me to get a few steps in, right? Ready?
Yes,
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I am duly qualified,
that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of this state,
according to the Constitution of this state,
to exercise the duties of the office to which I have been appointed,
to exercise the duties of the office to which I have been appointed,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of this state
the Constitution of this state
and the United
and
States.
the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congrats.
Yep.
Well deserved. Thank you.
Thank you. Judge Jeffcoat, would you like to say anything?
I would not.
Well, remember that if I have to come before you, okay? You said you didn't want to talk.
I'll say something real briefly. I've been a judge for 24 years, and my favorite years have been the ones here. So
Oh.
thank you very much.
We appreciate you too. Our second item is a resolution to certify the property located at 100 Snell Grove Road as an abandoned building site pursuant to the South Carolina Abandoned Buildings Revitalization Act. Councilmember Smith.
All right.
Jumping around here.
All right, so Connolly Development has requested a resolution for council consideration to certify that the property located at 100 Snell Grove Road as an abandoned building site pursuant to the South Carolina Abandoned Buildings Revitalization Act. This certification is requested by the applicant to support eligibility for state tax credits associated with the rehabilitation and redevelopment of the property. Approval of this resolution does not create a fiscal impact to the town of Lexington and is required for the applicant to proceed with the incentive application process. So, all that said, Madam Mayor, I would move for the approval of a resolution to certify the property located at 100 Snell Grove Road as an abandoned building site pursuant to the South Carolina Abandoned Buildings Revitalization Act.
Councilman Smith makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Lyles seconds it. Is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor. Just curious, I'm not sure whose purview this is, but does this, to be eligible for the tax credits, that mean you have to rehabilitate the building, or can you tear it down? I was assuming the building was going to be torn down.
It is. You can tear it down and redevelop the property.
Okay.
And just for the record, the property has not had a utility since 2020.
Yeah, so what's the threshold for being abandoned? How many years?
I believe it's 5.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is, Ron's not in here, so it's unanimous with who's here. Next item up is approval of a letter of support for Woodland Towns. Councilmember Michaels.
Thank you. Conley Development has requested a town council letter of support for the proposed planned unit development at 201 Old Chapin Road. The letter will be included as part of an application to the South Carolina State Housing Finance and Development Authority for project financing. Council consideration is requested. I make a motion for approval for the mayor to sign this letter of support.
Councilman Michaels makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Lyles seconds it. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. No discussion. I just, I think one of the Conleys is here. I just want to get an explanation of what exactly we're signing. Can you come up and fill us in on that? I'm familiar with, sometimes we do the lower income housing. The guys do the LIHTCs, and that requires a lot of local support. But I was assuming this was just a project for the general public with no income regulation. So maybe you could just explain what this is.
Yeah. So this letter is we are applying for federal and state tax credits on the property. So it will be an application through SC Housing Development Authority. But Kevin will own this property for 20 plus years, is adjacent to our office, but this is a workforce housing development. It'll serve a wide range of incomes in the vicinity. It'll serve up to 70% of the area median income. I'm not exactly sure what the area median income is in the town of Lexington, but it'll serve up to about the $50,000 income range. But this is for true working class individuals. It's close to downtown. So a lot of the folks that work in and around the downtown area will have a high quality place to live.
So just for clarification, these units will be limited to people of a certain, within a certain income bracket.
Yes, sir.
And they're going to be presumably for rent and not for sale.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
And you mentioned that there's a 20-year timeline on that.
That's a rough estimate. Essentially after about 18 years, the investors will want to try and get out of the property. And after 18, 20 years of a property, you really need to go through a refinancing process, get some new capital into the development, go out and help, any roofs that may need to be replaced. I mean, they're 30-year asphalt shingle roofs, but I think we all know that a 30-year roof doesn't really last 30 years. So kind of when you get to that 20-year point is just when just some financial shuffling needs to re-happen on the property. And, go do some new roofs, some new HVAC units, and any other potential repairs that may need to happen.
Yeah,
so that was the only reason why I mentioned 20-something years.
Yeah.
So it's rough. You don't know exactly what's going to happen towards the end of the transaction. But
yeah, and I'm familiar with the other developments that are, kind of just one building with like indoor entrances. I guess when I saw townhomes, I was assuming they were going to be independent units. So I guess my question is, are these townhomes, are these independently metered, or is this thing set up to be sold as one unit forevermore? Are they set up to ever be sold and broken apart, or is it set up?
Townhomes is typically each unit is individually metered.
Right.
But no, sir, they're not set up to be sold eventually. I think the apartment complexes that you're referring to are like Autumnwood Crossing,
right.
Kmart. So that is financed the same way as this development is going to be financed, but that's a 55 and older community. So that's why it's one big building, because it's got to be, each floor has to be ADA accessible. So you've got a central corridor that's all ADA with an elevator. So when you're targeting that population, you just have a little bit different of architecture design. This with being townhomes, we will have a certain number of the units will be ADA units reserved for handicapped folks, but they're not. They don't have an elevator in them. But these are, they'll either be 3 or 4 unit buildings with a, each unit, it'll be its own It'll be 3 or 4 units in a building. But I can't exactly say about whether they'll be metered. Sometimes we'll do 1 meter per building. Sometimes we'll do individual meters per unit. So it just all kind of depends on exactly what the town wants us to do when we get to that point.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Jessica, can I ask you? I'm just trying to understand our nomenclature here. So what distinguishes 50 townhomes from an apartment complex?
This will operate similar to a condominium or apartment complex. It'll maintain ownership by the developer, and he will lease the spaces. These will not be individual lots or units for sale.
So, yeah, I guess that just throws me off. When I see townhome, that's not the way I think of things. So does the word townhome fit in our ordinance that way?
It does. If you look under condominiums, we researched this prior to bringing it to you all. I don't have the definition of it in front of me, but it does meet the ordinance. This will operate like a apartment complex with, it references, whenever you get into that definition, it references whether you maintain ownership or whether the lots are for individual sale.
Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? And it's 6 unanimous and 1 opposed? Or 6 for and 1 opposed? Our next item of business is Accommodations Tax 2026 application. Councilmember Lyle.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Accommodation Tax Advisory Committee met on April 16th to review the applications. 11 applications were submitted, totaling $371,000. Excuse me, $371,500. 65% of the revenue is allocated for tourism-related expenditures. Total of $213,120.40 is available. There's a spreadsheet included in our packet that lists the requests as well as the recommendations from the committee, which is attached for our review and approval. There was a lot of discussion about this at our last meeting, but I think we've worked through most of this. But the committee has also reviewed and approved the budget for the Lexington Chamber and Visitor Center as the recipient for the 30% special fund, advertising and promotion. For fiscal year 2026, the Chamber is designated to receive $98,185.89. Madam Mayor, I would make a motion for council approval of the Accommodation Tax Advisory Committee award recommendations.
Councilman Long makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Carn seconds it. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Rachel, at our work session, I believe the end of April, we asked for staff to weigh in on the allocations recommended by the committee. Specifically, one that concerns me is the one denied for Lexington Community Fun Day. And I wanted to see if there was an update on that.
Yes, there is. Vanessa is here. Okay, I'll defer to David first.
I think at the workshop meeting, the question that came up was regarding whether council had the authority to amend the recommendation, and after research, the council can amend the recommendation, and as long as the total dollar amount stays the same, which is what is allowed to be dispersed, then the council can amend it. They can accept it, deny it, or amend it is the options that council has on the accommodation tax recommendation from the committee.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so yes, Vanessa provided a summary from the Accommodations Tax Advisory Committee as to how they made their decision with regards to this application. Let's see. The committee acknowledged that the application estimates a portion of attendees may come from outside the 50-mile radius, but the committee felt there was insufficient evidence to demonstrate a significant tourism draw or measurable impact from out-of-area visitors. The committee felt there was not a defined marketing strategy, so they couldn't confirm compliance with the statutory requirements for the use of the funds. They ultimately reached the consensus for this event that it's primarily a local community service initiative-focused event, distributing school supplies, providing meals, and conducting resource outreach. So the committee, after evaluating their application versus the stated requirements of the law, the committee found insufficient evidence to verify the tourism impact. One of the things I would like to mention, in the event that the committee would recommend funding and council were to approve funding for a project that does not meet the definition of the state, there is a state oversight committee that could require that the town pay the funds back. So that is the finding of the committee.
Okay, thank you. I will preface with I appreciate the committee's work. However, I wholly disagree that there's not a tourism impact here. I've personally met members at Community Fun Day that come from out of town to this event and look forward to this every year. So I believe that we should amend the proposed allocations, and I believe that we should allocate them a portion of the funding.
Isn't it supposed to be used for advertisement?
Let me pull up
or
the law.
There's specific things it can be used for?
That is correct, Mayor. There are specific provisions. Tourism-related expenditures include advertising and promotion of tourism so as to develop and increase tourist attendance through the generation of publicity, promotion of arts and cultural events, construction, maintenance, and operation of facilities for civic and cultural activities, the criminal justice system, law enforcement, fire protection, solid waste collection, and health facilities when required to serve tourists and their facilities. That is based on the estimated percentage of costs directly attributed to tourists. Public facilities such as restroom, dressing room, park, and parking lots. Tourist shuttle transportation. Control and repair of waterfront erosion, including beach renourishment, operating visitor centers, and development of workforce housing.
So technically, Porta-Johns could be included.
Porta-John could be included if it was being used at an event whose primary target was attracting tourism.
I'm just thinking in my head what they could use for.
I understand.
Things for that we wouldn't be charged back on. I'm trying to think out of the box here.
I understand.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Question. Who, if we amended this, who would we take money from?
Are you asking me?
I mean, anybody, I guess. I don't know the list. I mean, how would we?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
If I may. And I mean respect to everyone that applied, but I just look at this from a, I don't know, practical sense, or I try to look at it in the way I think an average citizen would look at it. I have a hard time believing anyone comes to stay in the town of Lexington to visit the Columbia Museum of Art. $5,000 that we're allocating to the Columbia Museum of Art, which is nice. It's nice. But are they really staying here in the town of Lexington? Probably not. We're also giving $40,000 and $15,000 to essentially the same organization. I mean, the Columbia Metropolitan's CVB and the Midlands Authority for Convention. That's all the same thing. I mean, it's two line items, but they're essentially the same organization. We're giving them $55,000. Now, they do provide some very good metrics by which they're able to justify their spend. In fact, I think in the applications, they were some of the best metrics. But we're giving a ton of money outside of our town and very little dollars inside of our town. This event has a substantial impact in this community, in the town, and I would like to see us allocate the money. So I would say, I mean, I think there's a number of places, but we could take it from our own funding. We're allocating our own self some funding here, or we could get rid of the Museum of Art. I mean, I don't
recommend taking it from our own funding because a lot of that's for our ice house and other things that we do over there.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
If I may to bounce onto that, I agree with where Gavin's coming from, and I think any citizen of the town looking at where we're kicking money across the river, where we have needs here, my biggest concern, and this is what we discussed, I know we've been busy with the budget, but the last time we looked at this, Town of Lexington requested 189, and we're only rewarding ourselves 95,000, so essentially half. And serendipitously, the next thing we have on the agenda is taking a look at applying this fee for repairs for the amphitheater. So I would move for us to say, award Town of Lexington 100% of what we requested to take care of our own front porch first. And if we agree that we want to give it to, Fun Day and that sort of thing, that's actually in town, I would be in favor of that. To me, it is insanity to be allocating $40,000 to Experience Columbia, and I have nothing against any of these. But if we have an amphitheater that is falling apart and we have to find money to repair it, this is a slam dunk. And this is just 1 year. We're doing accommodations tax every year. So it's not like we say no to everybody every year, just when we need the funds for the town to make those repairs. As you said, David, that's in the ordinance. That's how I would move. I would move to give the town everything. And everything, whatever's left, we divvy up.
So let me ask a question with that. What is Crossover Athletics? Is it here locally?
Yes.
Run hard.
Okay. Y'all were quick on that one, okay?
It's Jesse Harmon.
Okay. And for that. The River Alliance, that's not here locally, right?
They have a Columbia address.
Varna International Music Academy?
I believe they're Columbia based.
The Lexington County Museum, I think they should keep their money.
Mayor.
Yes.
Mayor, I do just want to share. I understand everyone's passions, but just as a reminder, town staff did not make these recommendations. We're following state law. We're going through the process. So if it's the will or if it's the desire of council to make an adjustment, I would encourage you to do so. We have been shepherds, providing the applications online, collecting the applications. Town staff is not a part of reviewing. Town staff takes the direction of the committee.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Could I just add on for clarification for those here and watching? Essentially what our administrator is saying is state law requires that we establish, when we instituted or when a former council instituted the accommodations tax, we delegate authority to a committee, the accommodations tax committee, by which they make recommendations. They are an advisory committee. They send those advisements to council and we take that up on advisement, but ultimately the council remains in control of said funds and can allocate how we deem appropriate. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Councilman. And if I may, to piggyback on that, after our last discussion, I also went and reviewed the law, and it's funny how you can go back and you know certain things and you can review it a million times and you discover something new every time, even though the law may not have changed. We also had discussion last time about whether or not we could limit what folks apply for. We absolutely can. And so at whichever time the town of Lexington started earning over $50,000, Town of Lexington hotels started generating more than $50,000 in state accommodations tax. This committee was set up. That's also state law. So whatever time that happened, the council I'm assuming, put their heads together and said, these are the parameters that we want to do. This is who our designated marketing agency is going to be. For example, that's our current chamber. And we just set out on the course. Unless something major happens, there's not necessarily a reason to look at that. So I say all of that because this particular application process is closed and we have recommendations in front of us, but we can certainly prepare for next year to modify our application, and council can determine what is it that we want to fund. So the state law allows for this council to work in conjunction with the committee to define that.
Okay, Mon, go ahead, and then I.
Mr. Epperson, could you, I'm trying to remember this correctly, but I believe whatever we award the fund day has to be spent on certain criteria. And if they don't spend it on that, then we have to have those funds returned. So based on that, the only thing fund day can spend these funds on, from what I hear Rachel saying, is advertising. Is that correct?
And Porter Johns.
And Porter Johns?
Yeah.
Wow.
They can only spend the funds on items that are approved under the state code that Rachel read.
Okay.
So however we interpret those categories, those are the funds. So the bulk of it is advertising is what they can spend it on. But I think they can spend it on bathroom, portable bathroom facility, because it does say sewer infrastructure to accommodate tourism-related activities. So, but it can be, we would need to get a list of the items that they're proposing to send. You can't just cut them a check and say, here, go run, have the event. They got to be able to justify the expenses.
And these expenses are reimbursed, or are they?
They're reimbursable.
But they're not. We don't front the funding.
No.
It has to be reimbursed at the end. So they would have to present
the receipts.
Yes, sir. It is reimbursable, receipt-based. I do also want to point out that state law requires that this funding be decided on at least once per year. So in the event that there's additional research, and please jump in, David, if there's additional research that needs to be done related to one particular award, you can make a motion to fund certain folks, leave enough funding on the table for consideration for another grant application or this particular application. Or you can table this whole item while we do the additional research and ask the additional questions, and then we can come back to you guys with that information for you to be able to make that decision.
Okay.
It does not have to be decided tonight.
I was fixing to ask you, could you give us an itemized list that fell up under the qualifications? So my recommendation would be that we table this. We look at, I think all of us would like to see the crossover athletics and the museum possibly stay in there, but we look at how we could give our town more and what Community Fund Day could qualify for. Because I'm not sure, and I'm not trying to not give you what you're asking for, but I'm not sure that maybe you have $10,000 worth of, I need you to tell us what you can come back and we can be legal under state law with. Is that fair?
That's fair.
That work, are y'all okay we table this then until we can get that list and you can tell us what it's going to be, and because you're going to have to present receipts to get the money. Mm-hmm. And I just want to make sure we're getting you what you need, what we can qualify you for. And
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Are we doing that of every organization? I would make a motion that we, and in fact there's a motion on the table, so I can't make a motion, but I would suggest that instead what we do is decide what we'd like to allocate to the organization, and if they don't reach that level, that money stays in the pot, correct?
Correct.
Yes, so I mean, we don't.
It doesn't go away, it just stays there.
Mm-hmm. The money has to be spent within 2 years, so it would be reallocated in a future year.
Okay.
Council can reallocate unspent money, or we can give it back to the state.
And
No, we don't want to do that.
I mean,
We do not want to do that. Well, I guess, Gavin, one of the reasons I said table it, because I was wanting to see how we could maybe fund more of our own amount that we requested, and let Rachel and them look at it to see what else they could come up for with the Ice House, with the information there. I know that the Experience Columbia, they do use them some for advertisement of events we're having. Is that correct,
Madam,
Lauren?
I'm sorry. I can answer that.
Yes.
I used to be liaison for this committee, so I went to these full meetings and sat in the deliberations for several years. It's been 4 or 5 years, so I kind of know how this deal operates. I mean, like, stuff for Experience Columbia is designated for their advertisements. They buy billboards in bulk in Greenville and Anderson, placed around the state. They get bulk pricing, they buy it all in bulk, and then they advertise like our Ice House events or our Snowball Festival. They advertise our events for us, and we get bulk discount pricing. So that's primarily, when we see those things out there, we think it's going to that organization. That organization is just buying advertising on our behalf, and we get bulk pricing. So that's part of it. The other part is, I don't know who all's there now, but I do know that several of them I know several of the people on that committee now, and several of them have been there 6, 8, 10 years. They meet, it's usually a 4-hour meeting. You guys were there, and everybody makes a presentation. They go into deliberations, there's a long application, so I would just, council can do whatever they want. I said that last time, but I would not be for vetoing what was decided in that scenario. I know we have a group of people here that we all know that we would like to support, but I would not upend a $200,000 process and that committee's empowerment for a $10,000 deal. I certainly wouldn't go in and revamp the whole thing. I think what you would find is next week, you'd probably, if you got 9 people on there, you'd probably have 8 resign. Because we tasked them with this, they sat through the presentations, they read through, they deliberated. We haven't done any of that, and so I think if we want to change something, we need to change it for next year. We're working on a $60 million budget right now. If we need to cancel $10,000 worth of stuff and figure out that number, we need to figure out that number outside of undermining this entire process, because that's not going to go well, and I think we should honor that, or we need to go to the meeting. We should all have been there and listen for 4 hours to all the presentations. So I think it can be a both and everything you want to do, it's all trade-offs. So let's find something we can trade off other than undermining this process in this committee. And I'm not, it's not a shot at anybody, but that is the reality. Like, I don't think we can do that, but I don't think anybody liked the result.
Is Ms. Constance on?
Yes.
She's on this committee too, okay.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Todd, I love you, but I vehemently disagree with you.
It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah. I think Councilmember Allen makes a really good point, is, we have a need here to potentially institute a fee for the Ice House. And that's, in a lot of ways, another tax on our citizens when we have their money right here. We've already captured it. So why not keep the majority of that in Lexington for a venue that we know is generating heads and beds, as y'all said in the last meeting, and then a few of our Lexington events. Community Fun Day is a great example of that. Run Hard, Crossover Athletics, great example. I personally have not seen any report from Experience Columbia or the other organization of what value they're actually providing to us. I do know a few years ago when I ran, they did give a presentation to council, but I wasn't on council at the time. And I guess my only other question would be, in this agenda item, we're also being asked to I guess, allocate the 30% special funding of essentially $98,000 to the chamber for their budget. I've never seen that. So I'm being asked to vote on a budget that I have no clue what I'm allocating funding for. And I just wonder, I believe state statute requires us to allocate 30% to our DMA, which we chose by ordinance, I believe, to be the Chamber and Visitor Center. Is that correct?
I do not know if it was chosen by ordinance. I would have to look into that. I know that's who has been the DMO for a number of years. And so let me get back to my spot in state law, because I did highlight this. The regional tourism agencies that are required, which is our DMOs, they shall submit reports on their budgets and annual expenditures of accommodations tax funds to the Accommodations Tax Oversight Committee. So it's to that committee that those reports are submitted.
Okay. But I still ultimately have to vote on.
You're right. And I do not know that historically that has been provided to council. I can provide that to council.
Sometimes it has been, sometimes it's not. It's a hit or miss, and it's really according to what the council asked for. So my recommendation again, I'm sure there's write-ups just like there was for Community Fund Day that the whole committee gave, correct, on each project?
I'd have to check with Vanessa whether or not there were write-ups per.
There are. We received them by email.
Are you talking about applications?
No, I'm talking about the write-up that the council, the committee gave of why they gave them the amount they did. Like you just,
decision.
Their reasoning behind.
Okay. The reasoning that I have was compiled by staff in consultation with the committee. I'm not aware of individual write-ups.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Maybe I can steer us a little bit. Is there going to be any detrimental effects to discussing this at our next meeting in punting?
No, sir.
In our work session? Okay, so.
I would amend my motion previously asking for approval of this to make my motion now to table this to the following meeting. So we can have a little more discussion before that meeting instead of having a bunch of enlightenment up here on the microphone.
Who was the second?
I don't recall who seconded
Were
my
you
motion.
second? Did you say?
I'll second it.
No, I mean, who seconded it?
Who
'Cause they
seconded
have
my
to
first
approve.
motion? Carnes.
Carnes?
Yep.
You're okay to table it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
May I ask clarification? Councilman Lyle, do you mean work session or next council meeting?
Is there any prohibitions or issues if we don't have this passed by the next council meeting?
No, sir.
I don't see the reason to rush it, but it gives us time to have the discussions we need to have. There's clearly some answers that we don't have.
So you could bring it to the work session to let them, if you have everything together, to let them discuss it. If not, it can be, well, we're getting close to everything, it can be June. Work session.
What do you mean by everything together? What else do you need?
I think you wanted to see the budget for the chamber, correct?
Yeah, Madam Mayor.
Hold on just a minute. And then I think we had some, their justification on why they gave what. Especially I'm curious of why their justification for us. But I'm also with Todd about this committee that spends so much time, because I know I ran into Miss Constance that day when she was coming in here for this. They obviously sit through it and hear a lot of the presentations and stuff, so.
Okay.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
I just think we need to be really specific what we're asking our staff for, because if my recollection is correct, we had a very similar conversation at the last meeting where we asked staff to go and evaluate what could we do, and will you bring it back to the next one, and that's what you've done here. So I don't want to give any ambiguity to staff, like exactly what are we asking for. That way they can do their job and bring it back.
So if I may, you also asked, how else can we fund this? And so, I mean, we're prepared to answer those questions as well. So I understand what you're saying.
You mean how else can we fund Day?
Correct.
Okay. You want to tell us that?
So you'd asked me if we could utilize hospitality tax. We can. So council could utilize those funds to make a grant as well.
You still want to table it, Todd?
I would again say, is there a reason that we have to make this decision tonight?
No, sir.
Okay. I felt like there was enough questions from the bench that might could have been answered by talking to the actual committee themselves or to some of these organizations. I feel like there was a lot of what do they do and how do they contribute, and I don't think we heard those answers, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so unless we don't care to know those answers, I'd be interested in seeing what Ms. Fleming has to say about some of that.
I mean, I think we all want to make sure we're meeting state law on whoever we give, including the town of Lexington.
I think there was questioning about how can we plus up the town of Lexington as well. This wasn't just a fun day question. This was a more holistic or global question.
But I'm saying I think we just want to make sure we're doing it by state law.
I agree with that.
Qualified.
I think we clearly want to be in compliance with the statutory framework of this accommodations or
because we don't want to be paying the money back if we do it wrong. So maybe some more conversation all the way around, and if you can have it ready by the work session, that would be preferable.
Okay.
All those do we need a motion, vote to table it? All those in favor of tabling it, raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. Our next item up is first reading of facility fee ordinance for Ice House Amphitheater. Councilmember Michaels.
Thank you. As discussed at the previous work session, this proposed ordinance establishes a $2 facility fee on each ticket sold for commercial events held at the Ice House Amphitheater. The purpose of this fee is to support the repair, upgrade, maintenance, and capital improvements of the Ice House and related infrastructure. The fee will be collected by the Ice House operator at the point of ticket sale and remitted monthly to the town. The ordinance also establishes reporting requirements, audit authority, penalties for noncompliance, and dedicated restricted fund for revenue allocation. Consider approval for first reading of ordinance. I'd like to make a motion to consider approval for the first reading of an ordinance establishing a facility fee for commercial events at the Ice House Amphitheater.
Councilman Michaels makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem Carnes seconds it. Is there any discussion? I'm going to have something to say on this. First of all, I heard this is a tax on a lot, of our citizens inside the town limits. If you're at the Ice House regular, especially for paid events, a lot of those people are not our town citizens. They're from outside our town limits. And I'm sorry, but I feel like those people should be helping pay. A lot of people at the free concerts are not our citizens within the town. And I feel like these people should be helping pay for the upkeep and the events that are put on at the Ice House Amphitheater. It shouldn't all fall on our residents. Now, is it a $2 fee? I spoke with Councilmember Williams. He felt it should be a percentage, like, I can't remember what he said, 10% or whatever the ticket is, which would put $1.50 on some, $2 on some, $3 on some, according to how high the tickets are. But I strongly believe that this is not a tax on our citizen. This is making it equitable to where people that are using this facility and helping wear out the grass, wear out the bathrooms to where they have to be redone and that type of stuff, are helping pay for what our citizens have. But that's my opinion.
Mayor?
Yes.
Rachel or Jeff back there, it says it's going into a dedicated restricted fund for Ice House maintenance. So can this roll over to next year or to a different year if you didn't need the maintenance, or?
Yes, so this would be an enterprise fund, so it would, only this money would come in and it would only come out for those particular expenses. This is a fund that we can collect money and save up for one big repair, or every year we can transfer the money into our operating budget for a bunch of little repairs. It's based on the needs that are identified by staff that are presented to council.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
And I also like that it's in a designated fund, so we're not just throwing it into the general fund and can be used in anything. It's put into a fund to have a purpose and be specific, and I love that, Jeff.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to offer an amendment to the motion that we table this in concert with the last discussion until we figure out how we're moving forward with accommodations tax. We table this item until we know how we're moving forward on that.
I hear what you're saying, but I believe this to go along with the budget has to have 2 readings. Would we be able to still get 2 readings?
No, we would not before the budget.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I agree with what Gavin said. That, like I said, it's serendipitous that these 2 items have been back-to-back on the agenda, because we're looking at this in concurrence. And let me say this. This item is perfectly reasonable. I understand why staff brought this. This makes perfect sense. But if we are being approached with a bucket of accommodations tax that can literally go to what we're wanting to put this fee on, and we could just knock out whatever repairs we wanted to do by awarding that to the town, and it's not a problem with the state, according to the statute, to me, it seems like we have to make sure that we're doing what we're doing with the accommodations tax first. I know these aren't connected, but for me, they are. And I know for multiples, it seems like they are. So it seems strange to me to say, yes, we're just going to go ahead. I know what you're saying, Madam Mayor. It's not a tax. However, as a citizen, that's what it feels like. It feels like we paid with our tax money to build this amphitheater. We pay with our tax money to upkeep the roads and all these other things, and now we got to pay more for these tickets. That's just the feeling of it when you go to this. And I understand that there are people outside the town that go to the amphitheater, but my whole point is they're going to the hotels. They're already putting it into that ATAX bucket, so that would solve 2 problems with 1 stone, in my humble opinion. So I would agree with Gavin. I think it would be best to table this.
Mayor?
Yes.
So a couple things. I agree, it is somewhat serendipitous, although not planned, I assure you. I do want to come back. We brought it to you at this timing so that it could be adopted in conjunction with the budget. While it certainly does not have to, it just makes it clean. So I do want to make that clear. And then also I do want to have David address do we charge a percentage or do we charge a flat fee? Because I know that you spoke with Jeff and weighed in on that.
What I've been able to determine is a flat fee is the standard charge for this type of fee. A percentage is seen as a tax. This is more of a fee, so you would need a distinct dollar amount that you would charge for that fee.
Okay. And Will, I hear you as far as the tax, but this is a use tax that people that are going to go there, they're going to pay it because they want to go. They don't think twice about paying the $8, $10 or whatever it is at the Newberry Opera House if they want to go see somebody. But I would encourage you, if you come to the Ice House Amphitheater and you shake hands, half, if not a little more than half, are not from in the town limits. And they should be paying part of this to take care of it. It shouldn't fall on just the people that live in the town. And I'm very adamant about that. Now, Rachel, with that said, if we tabled this one too, and you had everything at the work session, could we have first reading on this for June, and then second reading in July, or when we had the budget, or could we have it?
So second reading would just be in July. It would just be.
Or could it be at the work session in June? So it would come into effect in July?
If we did a special call. Yes.
Madam Mayor, from a timing standpoint, my recommendation would be to go ahead and give it first reading tonight, to have that out of the way, and then you can decide after when to place it on the agenda for a public
second
hearing.
reading.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's got to have a public hearing too.
That's correct.
Okay. So one other question, Rachel. a lot of the money that we're using, or that was requested for the ice house, and you may not know right off the top of your head, was it for repairs or was it for other things like advertisement and stuff like that too?
All the above.
Both. So it wasn't just a full.
Oh, absolutely. We have regular operations costs to include booking bands from the, or for the free concert. So it's all operations.
So it's not just the repairs, Will? Like
Yes.
this would be designated just for the repairs, and I know we've got a major repair of our beams needing to be replaced.
Correct.
So that's a major repair there, and we definitely don't want it falling on anybody, so.
I will say, Jeff and I spoke after our last work session, and initially Jeff had proposed we could use this for both maintenance as well as booking bands, but we heard you all. The consensus, although a vote was not taken, was we're not comfortable trying to expand what we're doing and bring more bands. We want to see the repair, so that's why you're seeing it written the way that it is.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Rachel, if you know the answer to this, or Jeff, how much do we anticipate, I believe we discussed this and my memory fails me, how much do we anticipate instituting these fees would generate annually?
Approximately $35,000.
So it is fair to say that we have technically $35,000 in accommodations tax money that we could additionally allocate, and therefore we would not be required to institute this fee.
If that was the will of council, you could.
Okay, and then I would just like to state that I agree with the mayor that many that attend concerts at the Ice House are not from inside the town limits. However, they are contributing by purchasing food and paying hospitality tax, or alcohol and purchasing or paying hospitality tax. So they are contributing in a way. This is just an additional tax for us to collect monies from citizens and non-citizens, and there's no way to delineate between, well, we'd like to charge this to out-of-town guests, but not in town. There's just no good way to do that, not that I'm aware of. So I would maintain that, I would still offer my amendment to the motion that we table this until further guidance is given on the accommodations tax.
I don't think you made the motion. Jenny would have to make the
No,
motion to.
Madam Mayor, I can offer an amendment to the motion.
Do you?
So now you need to vote on the amendment.
Do I need to change my motion to table it?
David, you want to jump in?
The easiest way to do it would be for the individual the council member who made the motion originally to amend their motion to table.
Okay.
And then the person who made the second would also need to amend, like we did the item on the last item on the agenda.
Instead of doing a first reading and then talking about it.
If you would like to table it, yes.
Okay. I'll amend my motion to table this until the next meeting.
Thought I think you were.
Was that the second?
Mm-hmm.
Second.
Okay. One other thing, and then I'll call for the vote, is we may have that much money in there, but the repairs that are facing us over there are way more than $35,000, and we've got to start being ready for this. And I am not okay with it all falling on the town citizens. So with that, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of tabling it, raise your right hand. And it is 6 to opposed.
Is this opposed?
Oh, 2 opposed and 5 for tabling. 2 opposed. Okay, final reading of an ordinance, a resolution authorizing acquisition of property rights at SC 53-14 Mile Creek Gravity Sewer Project, including potential condemnation. Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This resolution authorizes the town of Lexington to acquire necessary property rights and interests for the S5314 Mile Creek Gravity Sewer Project. The acquisition is required for public infrastructure improvements within the project area. The town will obtain appraisals and make good faith offers of just compensation to affected property owners. If negotiations are unsuccessful, the resolution authorizes the initiation of condemnation proceedings in accordance with South Carolina law to secure the required property rights for project completion. The mayor or town administrator is authorized to execute all necessary documents to effectuate the acquisition. Madam Mayor, I move for approval of this resolution.
Councilmember Allen makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michaels seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand, and it's unanimous. First reading of property transfer authorization, Lands End HOA, Councilmember Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Included in our packet was a draft ordinance which authorizes the town of Lexington to sell or transfer 1 acre parcel tax map number 003323-11-001 to Lands End HOA in accordance with a previously executed easement agreement and dedication of easement agreement dated July 13th, 2023. The transfer is intended to fulfill the terms of the agreement following completion of the town's pump station construction on the subject property. A proposed deed is included in our council packet as exhibit to the ordinance, and the ordinance further authorizes the mayor and council to execute all documents necessary to complete the transfer. All that said, Madam Mayor, I move for first reading approval.
Councilman Smith makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Williams seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand, and it is unanimous. We're going to skip 8 and go to 9. Approval, well, here he comes. First reading development impact fee update phase 2, Mayor Pro Tem Carnes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The impact fee ordinance adopted on February 1st, 2020 requires the Planning Commission to conduct a comprehensive review and update of the following at least once every 5 years: the Development Impact Fee Study Report for the Town of Lexington, the Town of Lexington Capital Improvements Plan, the Housing Affordability Analysis in support of a Development Impact Fee Study, and the Development Impact Fee Ordinance. Phase 1 of this update was adopted by the Town Council on March 3rd, 2025. Transportation component was deferred until completion of the Local Transportation Improvement Plan 2.0, which is now complete. Attached is Phase 2 of the required updates, which includes the transportation component. At their April 22nd meeting, Planning Commission recommended approval of the updated Town of Lexington Development Impact Fee Study, Housing Affordability Study, Capital Improvements Plan, and Development Impact Fee Ordinance. Therefore, I make a motion for first reading approval, adopting Phase 2 of the updated Town of Lexington Development Impact Fee Study, Housing Affordability Study, Capital Improvement Plan, and Development Impact Fee Ordinance.
Mayor Pro Tem Carnes makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michaels seconds it. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Can I just say, when I came to council, I was very opposed to impact fees. And while I still feel that small businesses at times bear the burden of impact fees, how we apply them is mandated by state law. The town does not have any authority to really change how we apply them. But I want to say that since I came to the town, and thanks to the education of Jessica and our former planning building director, John, and Rachel and others, even members of council, I understand now how important the impact fees are. They allow us to hold developers directly responsible for the burden they're placing on our infrastructure, particularly, obviously, transportation. And it gives Randy and our transportation team a tool to actually go and hold these developers accountable. So while I still would like to see some amendments at the state level to the Impact Fee Act, that is a state issue, not a town issue. And I just want to say thank you to Jessica and her team, Randy and his team, and administration for your work in applying these impact fees in the best case.
And I would just like to piggyback on that the businesses, Gavin was talking about the businesses, they do not pay impact fees into our parks and recreation, only the homes pay into that. So they actually just pay into our municipal facilities and equipment, things that are affected at Town Hall that they actually use, and then our transportation. So I would just like to note that they're not paying into the parks and facilities because they don't really use them. Anything else?
Mayor.
Yes.
Randy, can you remind us the number the impact fees have made on our road work here in town since we put them in place?
Mayor, while Randy's walking up, we do have Matt Noonkester here. He's the one that performed the study for us. If you all would like to hear any additional information about what he's put together, he's here, just as a FYI.
Yeah, so quickly, we've identified, planned, and/or fully constructed nearly $7 million. So right at $6.8 million. About 3.5 has been constructed to date of various road improvements through that impact fee. And then we've, in this CIP, we've begun the process of, the current fiscal year 26, the work at Gibson and 378 US 1 lane improvements out in that area is the impact fee project that was identified.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our next item is approval of special events permits and procedures process. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. At the recent work session, council directed staff to develop updates to the town's special events permit process to address the increasing frequency and complexity of the events and the associated operational demands on town resources. Since that time, the planning staff has coordinated with the police department and the transportation department to formulate a proposed framework. The detailed proposed changes are provided in the attached document outlines the recommended updates to the permit process and associated fees. As these changes relate to the administrative procedures and the town fees scheduled, they do not require an ordinance amendment, but do require inclusion of the associated fees in the town's permit fee schedule through this year's budget adoption. These updates will become effective July 1st, 2026 at the start of the fiscal year. So make a motion for approval of proposed updates to the town's special events permit process.
Councilman Williams makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Carnes seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. Our next item up is first reading mid-year FY 2026 budget adjustment.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, an analysis was completed to determine if capital items could be purchased in the remaining part of this fiscal year, which ends here shortly, and reduce requests towards the 2027 fiscal year calendar. There's a host of changes that are found in the packet, which ultimately should net out to a zero. The numbers that go forward should cancel out any future requests. In light of that, I would make a motion for first reading approval of these changes as found in our packet.
Councilman Long makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Smith seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And Chief, you get 8 vehicles.
Yeah.
Go boy.
Chief likes this one.
You get some Lexuses? Yes. Okay. Congratulations. Y'all know we're just picking, right?
Probably not a funny joke.
Next up is our first reading by title only, ordinance to adopt the FY 2026-27 budget. Mayor Pro Tem Carnes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. South Carolina requires the town council to adopt a balanced budget each year. The draft ordinance is attached. So I make a motion for first reading approval, and just for clarity, and title only means that the budget only becomes final after 30 days. There could be amendments and such in the interim, but I'll make a motion for first reading approval.
Mayor Pro Tem makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michael seconds it. Is there any discussion? I know you're making some changes and adjustments in there to some things that you've heard from council, so that will be more available for when we do second reading, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Madam Mayor.
Councilman Smith?
I received a call today from a citizen, and they wanted me to ask this question. Jeff, this question will be for you, if you don't mind. In the capital outlay, it is, let's see, I believe it is item number 2, the 2026 Freightliner Viper rear loader. Very, very nice lady from Martins Grove called to compliment Randy and his team on all the great work they did resurfacing the roads. And she has apparently become quite accustomed with the crew driving the grappler truck and speaks incredibly high of them and says they are just wonderful men. But she said that they're seeing in Martins Grove that when they have to put down the stabilizers, it's causing the road to, I guess, damage to the road. And she was asking me essentially if this budget item would alleviate that. And also I noted that the administrator, I guess, has, instead of purchasing it, we would rent that. Does that fulfill the need that you have? Would that alleviate her concern? Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, we did rent a truck for 2 months this past fiscal year, and it was successful. She also called me and voiced her concerns. We did request funding for a truck. We did discuss it. There is money to continue to rent or lease to own programs that we can consider. But that would not kick in until probably around November of 2026. So we would continue the grapple truck operation through that time. So we made the decision to go with that instead of buying a truck at this time. So.
And you're happy with that decision? I'm putting you on the spot.
I mean, we requested what we felt we needed at the time. I would be happy if Waste Management took over the program again, but our guys do an excellent job. They care about the town and get out there and hustle. But the rear loader does assist us to be more efficient.
Okay. All right. Well, I will say they stopped by my house the other day, and they were great. So they were I actually chased them down, if you want the honest truth. They were driving through the neighborhood, and I stopped them to take a rug from me. So, so thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Madam Mayor, if I may just ask one more question.
Okay.
I believe we discussed, I just want to state for the record, that you're going to look into our expenses related to lobbying services. We discussed that at the last meeting. I was able to look at the enterprise fund and the general fund, and the amount we are spending is quite significant. So I would just like to see us evaluate that so that we can perhaps allocate that to staffing or other needs that we have, maybe buying the truck that he needs.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that for the record.
No, understood, and we are looking into that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any others?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I'll put Chief on the spot. Hey, Chief, like we went on a retreat about 1.5 years ago, something like that, maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get old. And you made a presentation, and I think at that presentation time we looked at our salary structure, and we looked at maybe like 10 competing salaries for PDs. And if I remember right, the only people, there was about 3 opportunities that were ahead of us, and they were all state opportunities. At that time, our starting salary for our PD was higher than any county or municipality within our radius. Everybody else was state. Is that, when I'm looking at this budget here, is that still the case?
No, we have some municipalities and some of our counties have increased their salaries up. I don't have that information right now, but they have topped us. I just was talking to another Zector Vascalita today, and one of our local is up by 4,000 more than us, competing with the state, because the state right now is, they're paying the guys a lot more money.
So, and at that time, I forget our exact number of officers, and, but that was July. I guess that was last July, 10 months ago.
Yes.
And at that time, we were fully staffed. What's our current scenario with staffing?
Scenario right now, we have 3 openings, but we're going to hire 2 right around the corner. So we'll be with 1 opening.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So how many officers we have? 60-ish, 70?
66 police officers, 1 reserve officer, and 3 civilian.
Okay.
So if you know somebody who's good and want a job, tell them to come by.
Didn't have a record, didn't have a driving.
I don't know any of those folks. So, all right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, and with that, I'd just like to say it's kind of humbling sometimes when you with your guys or gals, and you mention the men and women in blue and the reaction you get from the people in Lexington. They have a great respect for y'all, and it just makes my heart happy to see that y'all are so well respected and so loved, because a lot of places don't have that.
Yes, ma'am. I think we got some of the best citizens in town, even Doug Jones.
We got the best chief in South Carolina, too.
We do. So with all that, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. First reading ordinance to provide for the FY 2026-2027 tax levy that is not going up. Mayor Pro Tem Carnes. You had to stay on track.
I'm not used to back-to-back. South Carolina law requires town council to adopt a tax levy each year. Attached is the draft ordinance for the tax levy for fiscal year 2026, 2027. I'll make a motion for first reading approval.
Mayor Pro Tem makes the motion, and I'm going to second this one, which I don't do very often. But with that, is there any discussion besides the fact that I would like to say that it's been 30 years since we raised taxes, and we have rolled back quite a few years too when we've needed to roll back the taxes. And I will tell you, when I go out and speak to people and that is said to them, they are all with their mouth open. And then I have to explain what part of their tax bill belongs to us and what part belongs to the county and the school. So, but with that being said, is there any other questions? Or?
I would just note, Madam Mayor, that we rolled back taxes technically last year.
Mm-hmm.
If you really get technical about it, in accordance with state law.
And Madam Mayor?
Yes.
If I may, we talked about this just fiscally. It just needs to be said for the record that there's no way for us to maintain the services that we do and provide all the things that we do without raising taxes. The only reason we're able to do that is because of our growth. I know growth is a pain point for a lot of people, but the expansion of the town, the growth of the town, new businesses, impact fees, accommodation taxes, hospitality taxes, and it's not going to last forever. I'm probably not going to be here, but at some point, the tax levies are going to have to catch up. You can't continue to add services and add things. Without that, we're just in a unique spot right now because we are growing and we are adding a lot of new enterprises. But we kind of get a free pass here for a season, and at some point, that's probably going to have to rectify itself.
And that's the reason you need to do that $2 fee, because it's a use fee, and it is somebody else helping pay for it besides just our citizens, and then you don't have to raise their taxes. But anything else?
We tabled that.
I know, but still, Jeff, come back with $4, okay? With that, all those in favor, raise your right hand. That's a unanimous. And I think this is our last item. Authorize Lexington County SS 4A Collaboration Councilmember Will Allen.
Thank you, madam. This is new business item number 13 for anybody who's keeping track. In June 2025, town staff applied for an implementation grant through the Federal Highway Administration to support transportation safety improvements identified in the Town Safety Action Plan. This application request was denied in October 2025. Following the denial, town staff participated in a debriefing with FHWA to better understand the application's strengths and areas for improvement. From that, FHWA strongly encourages a collaborative approach for future applications, specifically recommending partnership with Lexington County and other local municipalities to strengthen competitiveness and impact. In response, town staff seeks town council concurrence to collaborate with Lexington County and other local municipalities in pursuit of future SS4A funding. Madam Mayor, I move to authorize staff to collaborate with Lexington County.
Councilman Williams makes the motion to, no, Councilman Allen makes the motions. I'm getting tired. Is there a second?
I'll second it since you threw me in
Councilman
it.
Williams seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Okay, are there any, I'm getting confused. Are there any additional comments from the public regarding an agenda item listed tonight? Yes, sir. Please come forward and state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes to speak on the subject that's on the...
All right. Thank you, Madam Mayor and all the town council. I'm a little nervous. I've never been to one of these meetings, and I do want to say that the prayer before the beginning was wonderful, and I have not pledged allegiance to the flag in a government setting. I guess it was Irmo Elementary in the 70s. So, you know, of course, sporting events, so I mentioned that. Okay, my name is Scott Starnes. My address is 201 Old Chapin Road, apartment E5. I'm a resident of Lakeland Apartments that's been discussed. And my question simply is, and maybe this is something the development folks would know, be able to answer or something, but something was said about an assistance for tenants. I wanted to talk to the young man that was here, Mr. Connolly's son, I suppose, and he took off. So, you know, so I'm a resident. You know, I talk to everyone around building E as an Echo, and know a lot of the neighbors. I've not heard of anything about assistance. We've not received any paperwork. It's a very, you know, I guess I don't know if it was a low income, you know, apartment complex when it was built or what, but we don't have a website or any other communication other than a letter in the mailbox or something taped to our front door. You know, that's why how we found out that we might possibly, there might be some development there and there might be, you know, some changes and so forth. I don't know about any assistance. There are some people that have just got up and left. They've packed their, you know, their moving vans and moved on because nothing's been told us by anyone.
Mr. Starnes, and I think Jessica's standing up, but if you can get your phone number, we can get your phone number afterwards. I can get it to Mr. Conley and get him to get someone to contact you.
Okay.
If that will work for you.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I didn't know who to go to, and
if you get that
I wanted to be here for, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting, forgive me. Yeah, I wanted to be here in person, never been to one of these meetings, like I said, and I wanted to hear firsthand, you know, what was being said, because this was my home for 10 years, you know, after a divorce, and I'm glad that I've had a chance to, you know, I like where I live. I'm sad that it's going to go away, you know, and then I'm having to find somewhere else to live. But yes, I'll leave my number with her.
You get that and we'll get it to Mr. Conley.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for hearing me out. I appreciate all the work y'all do. And y'all wanted to do this job. You ran for elections and stuff. Good gosh. God, have a wonderful night. Bless you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak?
My name is Paula Kaufman, 201 Ellenbrook Way. 3 agenda items, 4 and 5, which we have tabled. I would encourage you, as you come to a decision on each of those, talk about, learn about, and decide based upon the net cost to the town of collecting a fee, user fee tax or whatever, but what does it cost us in staff to administer that? Just look at postage. Item number 12, not raising taxes. My tax bill said I was paying 23.6 mils. The ordinance that you just approved is written for 24.6. I don't understand the difference if we're not raising taxes. Thank you.
Can you check into that?
It's the tax bill for Allenbrook Way, is that right?
Pardon?
The tax bill for Allenbrook Way?
Right.
Real property tax?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Copy.
Yeah, we look at that.
We're going.
It says 23.6.
No, I believe you. We'll look at it.
I had to look it up.
Thank you for that.
I mean, I just paid it.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
can we get Jessica to say whatever she was going to say from Mr. Conley? Man, I know Mr. Conley. He's a local guy. He's under no regulatory, pressure. He doesn't have to help people move, but I know that was part of the conversation. So what do you know about that?
We did discuss it, and that was actually asked by the Planning Commission. So I do encourage everyone, if you're curious, we did have lengthy discussion at a Planning Commission work session in March. But they will assist, and I believe that they are waiting to reach out until the process was final and the purchase was complete. So I know that their intent is to reach out to every resident that's currently there and assist with relocation, and I believe they stated in that meeting that they were going to let them have first right if they apply to be one of the tenants at the current or the new redevelopment.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if they said they were going to do that, I assume they generally do what they say.
Yes, sir.
It'd be great, though, if you could loop us in on that communication when that happens, just so we have a verification.
I'll reach out to Kevin and get clarification.
Perfect.
Thank you. Anyone else? No news media here? Staff, anything from you?
No, Mayor.
Any comments from council? I think y'all have talked. First, we'd like to take a moment to welcome our new employees to the town of Lexington, hired in April. We welcome Jonathan to the police department, Scott and Enduro to the utilities department. We have a few announcements. The annual wine walk will be held this weekend, May the 9th, from 4 to 7 p.m. on Main Street. Tickets are currently on sale, and we encourage everyone to come out and enjoy this wonderful community event. I believe you can get them on icehouseamphitheater.com, and there'll be stuff there for the guys too this weekend. The splash pads and misting stations are now open at all town parks that have them, kicking off the summer season. Speaking of parks, the mayor's story time in the park will return this year beginning May the 19th at 10:30 a.m. at Virginia Hilton Park, and there will be some treats for the little ones, and the Lexington County Garden Club will be joining us there. I do not know what all they have planned, but they will be coming to engage with the children also, so please join us there. I know we recognized the Transportation Department tonight and the Police Week, and May is a busy month for these departments at Town Hall. May is Building Safety Month. National Public Works Week is May the 17th through the 23rd. In Madison, we've been spending a lot of time together thanks to these fiber companies. And then it's Municipal Clerks Month too, so I think we'll be recognizing them later in the month of May too. And since we will not meet again before then, we would like to wish Councilmember Smith a very happy birthday on May the 14th and hope he has a great day. I believe he's going to be vacationing in Mexico then. And finally, we'd like to take a moment to wish all the mothers happy Mother's Day in our community. We hope everyone enjoys a safe and wonderful weekend. And that concludes our business for the evening. Thanks for watching. And we're adjourned.
Thank you.